She looked me in the eye and said, "You're not smart. You just pretend to be smart." 14 years later, I told her exactly why her daughter didn't deserve my help getting into med school. And let me tell you, it felt incredible. Direct hit D, intro call to action, 15 to 20 seconds. Have you ever been told you're not good enough by someone who's supposed to believe in you? Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is the ultimate lesson in proving people wrong and taking your power back. Open Book E Full Narrative Expansion Main Story. Let me take you back to high school, specifically my sophomore year. That's when I had the misfortune of being placed in AP Chemistry with Ms. M, a teacher who, to this day, still represents the ugliest side of the education system. Now, I've never claimed to be the smartest person in the room, but I've always known one thing about myself. I'm a hard worker. I don't give up. I know how I learn best. And for me, that means taking detailed notes, staying organized, and reviewing material consistently. But Ms. M? She didn't believe in that. In her class, taking notes while she spoke was practically forbidden. She'd write on the board, give us 10 minutes to copy everything, then cover it up. And the rest of the class was just her talking while we were expected to absorb everything like mind readers. It was a nightmare. And to make things worse, I wasn't in an average school. I went to a hyper-competitive high school, the kind where parents were doctors, lawyers, and engineers and treated their kids like trophies in a never-ending academic war. There was constant pressure to be perfect. Even my graduating class had 18 valedictorians. Yeah, 18. Now I graduated ranked 34 out of 756 students. Top 5%, just barely. You know what kept me from breaking into that golden circle? 2 B+ grades, both from AP Chemistry. Thanks, Ms. M. 2 of my best friends were in that same class. One ended up a valedictorian, and the other finished in the top 20. And even though I spent hours each week buried in textbooks, tutoring sessions, and late-night flashcards, I couldn't break that B+ ceiling. I was frustrated, burned out, and my mom, my amazing, supportive mom, could see that. So she did what any loving parent would do. She scheduled a meeting with Ms. M. Just me, my mom, and the teacher, trying to figure out how I could improve. But instead of guidance, we got a verbal slap in the face. Ms. M looked at me, then at my mom, and said the words I'll never forget. "He's not smart. He just pretends to be smart by hanging around actually smart kids, like my friends." There was a long pause. I remember staring at her in disbelief. My mom's face went pale. We stood up and walked out in silence. Later that night, I found out my mom cried for hours. I didn't. I couldn't. But something inside me flipped. I taped those words, "You're not smart, you just pretend to be," above my desk. Every time I felt like quitting, I'd look at them and keep going. Didn't make the tennis team? I trained harder. Made varsity the next year. Told I was too thin to play basketball. I learned footwork and technique. Made the team. Ms. M thought I was a fraud. Fine. I'd become the real deal. Over the years, I fought my way through undergrad. I got into med school, and I made it through one of the most grueling residencies in the country. Now, fast forward 14 years. I'm back in my hometown visiting my parents. My mom asks me to grab some groceries. So I walk into the store, and there, like something out of a movie, is Ms. M. She recognized me right away, smiled, walked over, and tried to make small talk like we were old friends. I played along, polite, cold, said I was a doctor now, in the middle of residency, told her where I studied, what I specialized in. That's when she lit up. "Oh wow, my daughter's been trying to get into med school too, but she's been rejected the past 2 cycles. Maybe you could help." I stared at her. Did she really just ask me for help? She went on. "Do you still know people from your old school? Could you maybe help her get an interview?" I just said, "No." She blinked. "No." I repeated, "No. I don't think I can help. Maybe she should try being actually smart instead of just pretending to be." Her eyes widened. She looked stunned. But I wasn't done. I said, "I mean, if I'm just some guy who hung around smart people, and I got in, what does that say about your daughter, who's been rejected twice?" She didn't respond. Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. I grabbed my cart and walked away. When I got home, I told my mom. She listened quietly, and then she smiled. And I swear, she looked prouder in that moment than when I got my acceptance letter. Some people get to plant seeds. Others just wait around hoping to pick the fruit. Ms. M tried to bury me. What she didn't realize was that I was a seed. Fire F, climactic revenge payoff, 1 to 2 minutes. The look on Ms. M's face as I turned her insult back on her. That was the real reward. She'd once called me a fake, a pretender. Now she was asking for favors from the very student she tried to crush. And her daughter? She'd never get a foot in the door, not with me. Sometimes revenge is a loud public moment. But sometimes it's a quiet one-liner, served ice cold in a grocery store aisle. Thought Balloon G, reflective wrap-up, 15 to 20 seconds. Words have power, especially when they come from people who are supposed to lift us up. But so does perseverance. If someone tries to write you off, don't argue. Outgrow them. Outwork them. And when the moment comes, remind them exactly who you are. Loudspeaker H, outro call to action, 15 to 25 seconds. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button and subscribe for more true stories of revenge, justice, and sweet payback. And let me know in the comments, what's the one moment you proved someone wrong and it felt so good?